This is Eagle Owl, and today we're going to talk about Nic Scourton and how he could be a steal for the Philadelphia Eagles. Also, we got to talk about Avante Maddox' possible replacement. And lastly, Kelee Ringo probably got some competition coming to Philadelphia. But let's get straight into it. All right, man, before we hop straight into it, let's say happy belated birthday to Jalen Carter. We know the things he did in college was purely dominant, made the SEC all team, and we know he was a college football champ, took that to the NFL level, Super Bowl champ, all pro, pro bowler, all these things, all these great things. What he's going into year three, 24. And you know what's crazy? Jalen Carter is not going to hit his prime until another like 3 years. So he's not even playing his best football. We ain't see him hit that. Wow, he's playing great football. Like Aaron Donald said, yo, my replacement is in the league right now, and Jalen Carter. So again, happy birthday, Jalen Carter. I'm happy you're a Philadelphia Eagle. Some other Eagles news. We got an Eagles legend that retired. Yes, Brandon Graham already retired. I'm talking about Julio Jones. Julio Jones officially retired. We know the things he did in Atlanta. He was okay in Tennessee. And then when he came to the Philadelphia Eagles, he did add some things. But he just happened to come at the wrong time when we was collapsing. And we all knew that was AJ Brown idol. AJ Brown wrote a post about him on Twitter. Basically like I looked up to him. He was my OG, my unk. And honestly, if you love how AJ Brown play, that's Julio Jones. He got his game from Julio Jones. He got the TO type game. I like those type of receivers. I know a lot of people today like the finesse receivers, like Justin Jefferson, who could really run routes really good, or Tyreek Hill. But I'm like, give me the locomotive, give me the Cybertruck, give me the big guy that will run guys over, basically like a running back with the ball in his hand. Give me the AJ Brown, give me Jamar Chase. The finesse guys, they cool, they nice, but give me those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like that run your cornerback over. But again, happy retirement to Julio Jones, man. He's one of the GOATs, man. He's definitely one of the GOATs. But let's talk about some rookies, man. A lot of rookie talk. So let's talk about Nic Scourton out of Texas A&M. Another Aggie coming in for a visit. So he comes in for a top 30 visit. I would say this about Nic Scourton. In Purdue, he was nice. And I'm not saying he wasn't nice in Texas A&M, but his stop dropped there. So Purdue, and then going into the year when he transferred to Texas A&M, the very start of the season, a lot of people had Nic Scourton like he's the best edge rusher in college football. But Texas A&M defense wasn't that great, especially the defensive line, which caused Nic Scourton, stock to drop. He wasn't that dominant as he was in Purdue. And I think if you get him in the Philadelphia Eagles system, they could work with him. Now, what it did show in Texas A&M that he got a little bad because in Purdue they had him basically go get the quarterback, you're an edge rusher. Whereas though Texas, they tried to mix it up, have him play defensive tackle outside, put his hands in the dirt. They had him do a lot, which really affected his gameplay because they didn't really play to his strength and caused his stock to drop. Now they got him ranked like 6, 7 best edge rusher. Remember, going into the college season, he was the best. Like, he's going to be the guy. But again, stock drop now. Instead of going in the top 10, early second, late first, which he can fall to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think if Vic Fangio gets hands on him, he could get the best out of him. Hell, even PFF, after the Super Bowl, they start doing their, player evaluation. And they had Nic Scourton. This when I start looking them up. They had Nic Scourton fall into the Eagles, but this is what PFF had to say about it.
Nic Scourton, I think, is a guy that I think a lot of people are forgetting about right now in this draft. Obviously, his own teammate, Shamar Stewart, seems to be overtaking him in the draft right now. He was still an incredibly productive player, especially in his sophomore year at Purdue. Wasn't the best year at Texas A&M this past year. They put him a lot more of this hand in the dirt, more than I would have loved to see at Texas A&M, but he's still an incredibly productive player. And Philadelphia, one of the few quote-unquote needs they might have is adding more talent at edge rusher, with Josh Sweat probably getting a pretty decent-sized bag in free agency. So getting a guy like Nic Scourton there to go along with Nolan Smith and that defensive line, I think just is another great pick by Howie Roseman. It makes sense why he's the best GM in the sports if he gets this pick.
I'm with you on Scourton, man. He's somebody who, when I went through my edge rush rankings for NFLSC when Connor and I were doing those, I had Scourton at 7. It felt too low, like his edge 7, even in a really good edge rusher class, because Scourton was my edge 1 going into the season. And I think I might have been a little bit harsher on him in the year that he had, just because I had such high expectations, and I think he's a great football player. But man, just not really a productive year for Texas A&M's defensive line at all. I think that there's a very real possibility that Scourton goes a lot higher than this, but just ended up having him fall to the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is a team that's probably going to lose Josh Sweat, probably going to lose Milt Williams in free agency. They're going to lose Brandon Graham to retirement. So, another SEC guy for Howie Roseman here.
You see, they basically saying the same thing I'm saying. Like, yeah, they got him around 6, 7. Coming into the season, college season, he was ranked the best. But some things happened in Texas, and it was just a little fall off. But I think he'll be fine if he comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, or he get the luxury of falling. One of the luxuries of falling, you're going to a good team. Instead of him possibly going to like the Browns or the Giants or something, he can fall to the Philadelphia Eagles. Great culture, play alongside like Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Super Bowl winning team. And he don't have to play with a rebuilding team like Tennessee Titans or something like that. He don't have to do that. So, yeah, man, I would like him here. I would definitely like him here. But that's if we go edge rusher first round, because what's starting to heat up, and I'm going to transition to the next topic. A lot of you guys kept telling me, oh, we need a safety, we need a safety, we need a safety. Well, from my understanding, I haven't seen any safeties in the top 30 visits. But what I've been seeing, so O-line is not surprising to me. Eagles going to always go O-line, and they looking at guards. I kept telling y'all, like, on the offensive side, I'm really just worried about who's going to play guard. I know a lot of guys want to give it to Tyler Steen, but I don't think the Eagles want to do that, in my personal opinion, based on the top 30 visits. Then you sign Matt Pryor, trading for guards, signing all types of old linemen that could swing or whatever. So I knew we was going to look at old linemen. Now, we haven't looked at linebacker because linebacker is a concern to me. But we've been looking at edges, which is not a surprise. Defensive line. But what's been a surprise is cornerback, because you just drafted 2 cornerbacks. And what I think happened was the Cooper DeJean thing kind of threw us off, because we thought Cooper DeJean was going to be an outside corner. But what ended up happening, he comes in inside corner. Vic Fangio came out and said he don't want him to switch anywhere. We starting to look at all these cornerbacks, which is surprising me. I like Maxwell Harrington. I guess I'll talk about it right now. So another guy that came to visit the Philadelphia Eagles, he came out and said it, was Trey Amos. Now, Trey Amos, really good, 6'1", ran about like a 4.43, going off the top of my head. Very loose, very fluid. He's extremely good. He early center you want. He's really good in zone. He's a tackling machine. Like, he could tackle. He could do a lot. He's a starting caliber corner. But I'm like, you drafted Kelee Ringo, what, 4th round, 3rd round or whatever? What I'm starting to think is that the Eagles don't love Kelee Ringo. They simply don't. And I know I hit Anthony DeBono under his Twitter. I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to see all these corners. Do you think, they just want the competition? He was saying like, nah, I just don't think the Eagles love Kelee Ringo as much as the fans do. A lot of you guys were under my last video saying like, Eagle Al, you really believe in Kelee Ringo? I'm like, I do, but I still think there should be competition. I do. I like him, but you got to bring in competition for sure. And they've been bringing in a lot of competition. Signing Adoree Jackson. You looking at these cornerbacks, and it's just not a good sign for Kelee Ringo. It's not. And again, Trey Amos, Maxwell Harrington. When you hear those names coming up in Philly, that's not a good sign for Kelee Ringo to just start in that spot. Now, if he beat one of those dudes out, that's really impressive. But those dudes are not coming here to be backups, man. Those dudes can play football. But I honestly think, in my honest opinion, what threw them off is Cooper DeJean going in the slot. That's what threw them off because we just drafted 2 cornerbacks last draft. What it's looking like, we're going to draft another cornerback early. Again, while a lot of you guys harping on safety, the Eagles are not looking at safety, and that lets you know they really believe in Sidney Brown. They honestly do. The guy they don't trust right now is Kelee Ringo. I'm just going off of what I'm observing, what I'm seeing. So I know there's going to be a lot of you guys in the comments. Oh, you hating on Kelee Ringo. That's not the point. I'm just going off the facts. And the facts are we are looking at a lot of corners. We are signing corners. They're not here to replace Cooper DeJean or Quinyon Mitchell. They're not. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. But again, Trey Amos, he's that dude. He can flat out play. Now, it's another guy we looked at who can go like 3rd rounds, late 2nd or whatever, is Jacob Parrish, another corner we looking at. He got experience playing inside, but he could play outside too. That's why I see him more as a Avonte Maddox replacement, because there was a couple plays where, Cooper DeJean had to sub out, and Avonte Maddox did a good job subbing in from time to time. The last one we remember is the Super Bowl. And I think you just need a solid replacement, and then you're going to need like a special teams guy as well in the meantime. But if we go him 3rd or whatever, you expect him to see him on the field, especially like, special teams. But Jacob Parrish could definitely play. He ran like a 4.35. You can't even have him returning kicks or whatever. I don't want to see Cooper DeJean doing that. But again, I see him more as the Avonte Maddox replacement. And Cooper DeJean definitely keeping his spot. But that experience inside and outside is really good. The only thing with him is he is undersized. He's like 5'9". You could say 5'10", but he's small. But the speed, keeping up with any receiver, he can do that for sure. I like Jacob Parrish as well, but I see him more as an inside than outside. But it's good you have a guy that can do both. You have a guy that can do both. But we starting to ramp up on these cornerbacks, man. So I'm saying, not to harp on Kelee Ringo. Honestly, if I was him, I'd be worried and I'd be on my P's and Q's working hard because they're not giving up that spot easily. They're not. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hey, man, what do you think? How do you feel? Again, I'm not trying to go in on Kelee Ringo. It's just facts are the facts. Also, Nic Scourton, an edge rusher. How we feel about him? Possibly be like that Josh Sweat replacement. We'll see. If you could get Donovan Izaraku, I like him more. But I like Nic Scourton as well. And Avonte Maddox replacement. But this is Eagle Owl, man. I'm out.